welcome to Focus on B, the single-part video series where I take a look at a game very much like this one right here. This is Vectorman, the 1995 Sega Genesis demo scene showcase become actual platformer. Let's be real, this shit is like if you took one of those, you know, remember the demo scene of the time when they would make these really impressive visual showcases? Technical showcases with impressive visuals for stuff like, you know, DOS and the Amiga, and I'm sure Modern Vintage Gamer has a more detailed analysis of that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, if you took that kind of stuff and made it into an actual video game, you get Vectorman, because holy shit, this game is really freaking good looking. That's one thing, and it sounds amazing too. Holy shit, this music has actually inspired some of the music that I've written for one of my games. Will I ever release it? I don't fucking know. If I ever figure out how to do how to make multiple levels, I might just make it one of those things where it's just like one super big level. Although I have figured out how to do custom title cards, so I could just change the level assets and then go, okay, now you're in I'll put a title card and just make it, now you're in a different level. But anyway, so this is a, how would I describe this? It's like, you know, Turrican? It's kind of like Turrican, sort of. You can move around, shoot in multiple directions. The controls are very smooth. The whole game plays so fucking smooth. Remember back in my day when the technically impressive games also ran at a good frame rate? Well, because this is a 2D game, so of course it's going to run smooth. Although, it doesn't actually take that much to make a Genesis slow down, to be fair. I mean, have you ever played Mega Man The Wily Wars? Blast processing indeed. Look at those flag animations. Holy shit. It's all done with really impressive animation, all really impressive illusions, right? I bet John Burnham would have a fucking field day with this game. But anyway, other than being very pretty though, does this game actually have anything going for it? Oh, of course it does. It's got some very difficult gameplay. And this is the kind of game that has me conflicted. Sometimes when I play it, I ask myself, was this game ever meant to be completed? For fuck's sake. Because, you know, you understand times are different, right? Back then, games were not meant to be fully beaten. Now, it's like they put so much fucking time and effort into making the games look as beautiful as possible that it's like, if you don't see all of it, we've wasted our time. Although, to be fair, the whole point is that you spent your money buying the game to begin with, but still, they would feel like maybe you'd be disappointed if it was too hard and you get to see all the pretty visuals. This game's like, fuck you, you gotta work to get to that point, to see everything the game has to offer, because these levels, in this video, I'm probably only going to clear about 3 of them. Well, maybe more. One of them is like super short, right? Although it is complete dog shit and stupid and I hate it, and it's the second fucking level of the game. What is up with games from this time period, of this genre in particular, the side-scrolling shoot-em-up? Well, no, side-scrolling shoot-em-up isn't really accurate. That would be more so stuff like, R-Type. No, I mean more like, for example, the side-scrolling projectile combat game? Turrican clones, whatever you want to call them. What's up with these kind of games? Just having the absolute worst second levels. Banger first levels, and then terrible second level. Ow, you fuck. You know what I mean? You'll see what I'm talking about. Now, let's jump down here. We have a little boss fight, and this is all about memorizing patterns. You cannot get by on just reaction times because shit moves in a very erratic way that you would have to know beforehand, before you can, there you go, like that. You have to know what's gonna happen. This was the first moment of the game where I ask myself, is this where I put the quarters in? Like, it's because it's arcade style. This was never an arcade game, to be fair, but it just has such an arcade mentality of just kick the player's ass and make them do it again. I'm even playing on lame difficulty. Yes, because this is a game from the 90s. The difficulties are, oh fuck. You see, you have to know beforehand. You have to jump over it, right? You have to jump over it. The difficulties are wicked, lame, and something else. I'm not, maybe insane, maybe crazy, I'm not sure. I think that animation is actually exclusive to lame because I don't remember seeing it when I played on the regular wicked difficulty. A chunky ass Sega Genesis baseline metalhead. This is the level I was talking about. Fuck this level in the eyes. Look at this. Okay, yeah. Real cool 3D illusion you got there, game developers. But, how the fuck am I supposed to... Oh, I did it. That was the fastest I've ever completed that stage. I have no idea how that happened. Huh. You notice that? When you have too many lives, the game switches from showing the individual Vectorman to, showing just an X6. That's really nice. That's a nice touch. It definitely helps because it's better than not keeping track of them. Remember back then it was super common for games to like technically keep track of how many lives you have but not showcase it. I know it was just a limitation of the engine, I imagine, whatever they would have been using, but still. I'm currently actually trying to grapple with like UIs and heads-up displays in Godot, and I want to fucking kill myself, but so that's not that bad. Anyway, so as you can see, the animation is super procedural. You can shoot down, and I didn't even fucking know that. Urgh. So anyway, what else did I have to talk about when it comes to this game, other than the fact that it has a style to it, definitely. That I don't know. I think it epitomizes the Genesis, because the thing is, you know, much like how Mark from Classic Game Room says stuff like, you know, oh well, the era of the traditional game console is over in terms of the fact that game systems are mostly the same. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that game systems to this day still have a very distinctive look and feel because of their marketing. You know, like Xbox versus PS4 versus Nintendo, stuff like that. You do get a different feel, Evercade, wherever it might be, just based on the appearance of the system and the games that are most typical on it, right? But man, the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, I mean, yeah, it was very clear. In my head, the Super Nintendo was like very playful and approachable. It had some gritty games for sure and some very tough games, but the Genesis was like, okay, so basically, if the Super Nintendo was like a family sedan or something, or a station wagon that got the job done right, but was kind of no frills, fuck me, there's like no invincibility frames whatsoever. Yeah, well, this game, the Genesis was like a cool convertible, you know what I mean? Like, just driving down the sunset. It had a certain vibe going on, especially with, like, the sound fonts that they use. Like, Sega Genesis games just had a really cool sound. Even though, again, objectively, the Super Nintendo was more capable, but, like, games like this really made a good case for the Genesis, and I feel like if this had come out sooner, it would have blown people away. Because here's the thing, this game came out 2 years after, Let me think of the name real quick. I'm having a really hard time remembering this super obscure underground release. Doom. This game came out 2 years after Doom. And yes, absolutely, that was a different platform. But, you know, people can still be aware of it existing and wanting to play it. Hell, this was the same year as when Doom came out for Super Nintendo. So, yeah, I'm not saying, like unfortunate timing or whatever. I'm not saying that, like, Doom is, like, the end-all, be-all of video games, although it is very good, especially not the Super Nintendo version. Oh, funnily enough, this came out a year after the Sega 32X version, so I'm not sure how much it counts, but still, of Doom, which was actually way better than the, the Super Nintendo version. I'm not just saying that because reasons. No, it genuinely is. It plays way smoother. Yeah, the music doesn't sound as good. That's true. But, you know, you just mute it and play something else. So anyway, this is the kind of game that makes me question sometimes. Like, okay, so I understand. Here's the thing. It's actually hilarious just how all over the place the difficulty is. Because this level right here is piss easy. It's actually easier than the first level. I'm not even kidding. It is. Because the first level has that really annoying end boss that took me forever to get good at. I'm not even sure if I am good at it at all now, even. Whereas this one doesn't even have a boss. I'm just running through, shooting shit, right? Having a good-ass time, enjoying the transformations, enjoying the visuals. And I love, like, he's kind of... I just realized Vectorman came out in 95. You know what else came out in 95? Rayman, and that game also has a very, very similar style of animation where the character is split up into pieces and he kind of fuck you out and he kind of move around independently, which I imagine must have been a massive pain in the ass to do properly, which also means that, you know, the sprites for this game have been partially ripped, but if you want to animate the guy, you're just gonna have to fucking do it yourself. You have the individual assets. Not like they'd be super hard to recreate because they're just a bunch of spheres, but you would have to actually, you wouldn't have the individual frames of animation. Oh man, shit just pops out from the bottom of the script. That is so classic shoot 'em up design from this time period. I was actually planning on doing a video on Mega Turrican, which is also a Sega Genesis game much like this one. Although, I got the thumbnail and everything, I don't know if I really want to do it. You have no idea how many thumbnails I've made for games I don't actually know if I really ever want to do videos on. It's just like, I just had a thought one day, I was like, maybe I should do it. And so I've been doing it. So I just made the thumbnail, but I'm not sure if I'll actually do it. Yeah. I was worried this would be one of them, but I thought, fuck it, I gotta do it. This game's way too cool. It's a really cool game. Is it fun? It depends on what level you're playing. Is it polished? Sure, yeah. And look, the level's literally... Wait, hold on, actually. Wait a second. There's a little bit of a pickup right here. You really want to be collecting as much shit as possible. It shows the difference in difficulty design between games from the 1990s to games today, right? Hard games now are usually, they'll still be hard. In fact, they could be even harder because we have a much better understanding of what we can do as players because we've been making games for so much longer and playing games for so much longer. The underwater level, nice. But at the same time, they'll be forgiving for the most part by not making you redo too much. Now, I'm using save states. Of course I am using save states. But let me tell you about that. I mean, yeah, I have 7 lives right now. I'd probably only have 2 if I wasn't. If I was even able to make it through some of the levels, right, without constantly saves coming. This is a great level too. Why the fuck did they put that shitty train stage? Yeah, I beat it real quick, sure, but I'm never gonna forget my first time trying to play through it. Why did they put that level second in the game? It left such a bad taste in my mouth because honestly, now I'm really enjoying this game. It's not even that difficult, to be honest. I mean, it's less difficult in the conventional sense of requiring a lot from you. It just feels cheap. I'm not gonna lie. The fact that, see, because the character was so detailed, right? Not just the animation, but the way he looks and stuff. And he's so big on the screen. Back then, you needed to do that. You had to make a choice because of the low resolution of the image. You had to make a choice. Do I make my character take up less screen space, or do I make them... but less detailed, of course. Or do I make them bigger, so they take up more space, but they're more detailed? Mega Man 7 was very heavily criticized for this, even though I didn't really have too much of a problem with it in that game. I wonder if I should play through that game. And yes, I have already made the thumbnail for Mega Man 8. Maybe I'll have started a series by now. I'm not sure. I'm still probably doing Rayman Revolution. I mean, I do like 3 games at a time, so whatever. It doesn't really matter that much, but still, I might do that at some point. Ooh, we got to swim some more. And these transformations are really neat. They don't really add that much to the gameplay, though. It's the kind of game that's very... I almost want to call this game style over substance, but there is substance. It's just kind of... Basically, because of how small your radius of vision is, right, and how big the hitbox is, it feels kind of cheap. I'm not going to lie. I very rarely feel like I've actually made a mistake when I get hit in this game. Maybe it just wants to reward careful play, because right now I'm being very careful. That's the truth. I'm moving much slower than I truly want to. I want to go way faster than this. You know me, I gotta go fast. But I'm not moving that fast because I feel like if I do, I'll just run into something that I had no way of seeing 5 seconds prior. And this was a common issue with games back then just because of their aspect ratio, right? I mean, you really couldn't do much about it. These games didn't even run at 4x3. They would often be stretched to 4x3, but in reality, their actual rendering was much narrower than that. What? Did I just take no, that was a different sound effect. I'm not actually sure where those sounds come from, but yeah, look at this. Like, the particles flying everywhere. It's really, really well done. This is another boss fight, and I think this is one of those super well animated, like, Mischief Maker style bosses. I say Mischief Makers because, yeah, that game also has a very similar approach to animation. This is the guy, right? Oh, wait a second, that's different. I remember it being a wolf last time. Why is it it's a fucking pelican now? A robo-pelican. So this game has randomized bosses? That's ahead of its time. I swear to God, I remember it being a wolf. Maybe it wasn't, and I'm just stupid or something. I'm misremembering. And you know what's really funny, by the way? This game actually has a plot, believe it or not. It's set only about 20 or so years into the future. I'm not even kidding. It's set in the year 2049. So, not too far from now. I'll be 48 by then. Jesus. Oh, there's the... it's a bear. So it transforms. I just realized. Okay, so it's multiple phases. Yeah, it's one of those type of bosses. And look at how he animates. It's so cool. But yeah, so basically the villain of this game... So your guy's called Vectorman, right? The villain is called Raster. You see, that's a real big, funny Photoshop joke right there, because, like... You know, you have vector images, you have raster images, right? Funnily enough, this whole game is raster. Well, no, it's actually not, I guess it would be. I don't know if they can dynamically scale any of these. No, there's no way that Genesis could handle vector graphics. Because the thing about vector graphics is they're infinitely scalable, but they are more demanding because every single part of them is a mathematical calculation of vectors, of distances between things. That's what a vector is. It's distance. It doesn't mean anything in terms of position. It's just relative. So, for example, a vector from like 4, 8 or something like that, that would just be a diagonal, right? Anywhere on the grid between 2 points that are that far apart. You get what I mean? It only represents distance, really. It doesn't actually tell you exactly where something is. Can you tell I've been reading up on GD script? because game design is hard, but no, okay, actually, I wonder if I can make a game like this. Well, I have to figure out how to do the weapons. Look at this dude has fucking inverse kinematics. Inverse kinematics on a goddamn 2D sprite. Is that even possible? Well, clearly, look at this, look at this. I step on the thing. Oh, okay, clearly it switches into a different pose, but still, an inverse kinematics would totally be possible. It's just like, if on slope, you know, you fucking switch over to the animation set for that. I don't know. I love how this game makes him sound so wimpy. What? Hold on. Wait. Look at the hitbox on this. Crouch, and you still get hit in the face. So what do I do about this then? I guess I just kill him beforehand. Thematically, I don't really get what this game's going for, because you start out in like this... Okay, so you have this theme of water at first, and actually, yeah, that's the theme, because this game is all about, you know, saving the world from pollution. So a lot of the levels are water themed, obviously. Like the first one had like water in the background, I think. The second one was a water stage. The last one was fully underwater, and this one has a lot of water too. Then later on, not to spoil a 30-year-old game, but later on, you enter some more sandy environments. I wonder what you do even after that. I've never beaten this game. I've only played it just enough to say, hey, I want to do a video on this game, but I can't say I've completed it. I haven't completed very many games from this time period at all because, well, they're fucking hard. Okay, this guy's an absolute pile of shit. Okay, check this out. I don't even remember how you're supposed to beat him, to be perfectly honest. I actually have no idea. I have beaten him, I just don't remember exactly. So, what was it? Obviously, we have to kill all these guys first, so they're not distracting us, even though I'm pretty sure they're not even loaded in before they're actually on screen, because it would be very wasteful, right? Especially for the Sega Genesis, even though they did have a faster CPU. So I think what you do is you have to shoot him, and then... No, you have to shoot, like, the top bit of him, right? That being... Yeah, that thing. Now he breaks apart, and he is exposed. You shoot his ass, and... Oh my god, wait, was that it? How did that initially... my first try beating that guy took... like, maybe 5 minutes... Oh, no, it couldn't have taken 5 minutes, because the game literally has a timer, so clearly it did not take that long, because I would have died via timeout. Also, why did so many games do that, man? Was it just because someone discovered the fucking timer feature, and it's just like, you know, on timeout, you call it the function, and basically it kills the character? It's like, no, it's not cool. No, it's because it comes from the arcade era, where they would try to, like, kick you off the arcade machine faster than some other game would. There you go, look at this. Look at these environments. I didn't expect to go for so many levels in this episode. We're almost done with the video. Because, again, I try to keep these about 20 minutes long. Although, listen to that music. It's actually the same music as the first. There's not that much musical variety in this game, although it is a very cool style. And again, I am taking great inspiration from this when it comes to my own music for the first game I'm doing. I want to do a lot of different games. I want to do top-down. I want to do actually, well, that's pretty much it. Maybe a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, if possible. I'm not sure. Actually, no, I'm not really a... Well, that's the thing. It doesn't matter if I'm a fan of it. I just want to... Like, I'm not the biggest fan of electronic music, but I like making it. It's really, really fun to make. Like, I typically prefer metal and stuff. You know, I'm a guitarist still, like, obviously. But it's weird how those kind of... one of my friends used to, like, always comment on that. It's like, dude, you listen to such heavy music, and yet you make stuff that's not like that. Well, that's actually very common from what I've noticed. Anyway, so... What else is there to talk about when it comes to this game, to be honest? Other than the fact that it's actually not as difficult. This is... I feel like I'm actually experiencing something that the developers had in mind, which was to improve, right? You learn the patterns, you figure out how the enemies work. This is a rewarding experience. I actually am really glad this genre of games exists. Yes, it's very niche now. It is nowhere near as popular as it used to be, although we still get similar games, like, for example, remember Gunlord? Crazy to think that game is now 13 years old. But yeah, that was a homebrew game for the Dreamcast, and it's fucking sick, you know? It's like this game, but also Turrican. And there's also this game called Hurricane, which is like a fan-made German Turrican for PC, and it's also very good. And it's strange how, like, genres sort of have, like, their moments, but then they come back, and they end up being better than ever. Although some classics still remain. Now, can we consider this a Sega Genesis classic? I think so. Although it's very difficult to recommend to people who aren't willing to learn it. because it's super easy to pick up and play, right? This game is so simple to understand. You run around and you shoot shit. What the fuck else is there? It's just like any modern shooter. It's just that, as I said, because of how big the character is on the screen, I do not believe that this game is even remotely fair. It's a good game, it's just not very fair. You have to basically know where everything is beforehand, right? Why does he have such a little bitch voice? I mean, like when he... Ow, see? I had no idea that enemy was there. And yeah, I get learning, like, the stage layouts and stuff, but, man, it's because he's a little bit slippery, too. That's another... See, look at that. I have no choice but to basically load my... If I want to do a no-hit run, I basically have to... Okay, I know there's an enemy here. There's going to be another enemy over there. Keep spam jumping like this, and he's dead. He's dead now, and there's going to be one more enemy over here. There's this very fine line you have to walk between memorization and... like, requiring memorization, and also allowing you to sort of go through things via reflex. Because here there's no reflex. It's all about memorization. Just slowly treading through the stage, which is so un-Sega, because the whole thing was like blast processing, speed, Genesis does what Nintendo don't. And yet, this game's all about taking your time, being really, really slow. I think I'm actually going to leave it here. I've pretty much said everything I want to say about this game. I think it's actually... It gets better. It grows with you. It grows on you so much. You have no idea. Like, so many games... It's such a fascinating phenomenon of games that, like, you get tired of and you get worse, and then you get other games that you learn and they get better with time. But you gotta be really careful, because you can't have the game suck too bad the first time. You can't rely on it improving over time, because then it'll leave a bad first impression. Like this game. This game, I didn't like it very much at first, but now I'm like, oh fuck, I want to keep playing through this. But we gotta end the episode, because it's been quite some time. Don't want to hold you guys for too long. So, this has been Focus on B, the single-part video series where I take a look at a game very much like this one, that, you know what, actually, come to think of it, maybe I could do a series on it, but, I don't know. I don't know if it would work for the Let's Play format, but either way, it definitely has a lot of qualities that I wanted to talk about. I think I talked about them. I might have missed something. Who knows? Maybe I could do a video on Vectorman 2. That would be fun. And maybe make the thumbnail just a big 2 with a sphere behind it. Yeah, that could work. So, this has been Focus on B. As I already said, the single-part video series where I said the intro again, or take a look at a game very much like this one. And this has been Vectorman for the Genesis, 1995. I'll see you guys in another episode of Focus on B.